So everybody's been asking to do a Gala update, so today we thought we'd give you one. And I think the timing is perfect because there's a lot actually happening within the Gala ecosystem, announcements, all that kind of stuff. We're going to dive into all that good stuff. It is a big one. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to Tech Path, and we're going to dive into it today, talk about Gala as a whole. Now, just as a full disclosure, Gala is a sponsor, a channel partner here. They don't tell us what to say, nor do they ever ask us to report on anything specific. So we do all of our own research, our own due diligence to really kind of understand what's happening. But they are a sponsor. If you guys are interested in jumping into Gala, just go over to Gala.Games. It's or Games.Gala. I always get that wrong. I don't know why. But Games.Gala, and of course you can jump into really kind of the significance of what this company is really about, and that is the gaming ecosystem. Absolute huge array, and there's some interesting things that we'll talk about today. But as you can see, when you get into blockchain gaming, and if you're maybe new to blockchain gaming, this is one of those stops that you definitely want to make. So just use our link below. It does help the channel. Let's get into a couple of the points of today that we're going to get into. And one was it all kind of started from a tokenomics standpoint. And the first tweet here is, what do you think about Gala community? Do we burn 100% of the Gala used in purchases on the platform? This was done on January 6th. So I'll zoom in on that a little bit so you guys can see it. January 6th, 13,000 votes, final results. 90.5% yes. So this to me is pretty significant. Now, as you see this along with some other aspects that Jason Brink, who is a Bitbender on Twitter, he talks a lot about where this evolution will be taking Gala. And there's three things that have happened almost simultaneously. That the tokenomics model has now a new resolution to it that has been challenged. And this may be a huge advantage for Gala moving forward from a tokenomics standpoint. The other knock, I won't say knock, but the other challenge that Gala has been facing is flipping over to mobile. We'll talk about that because they've also potentially solved the mobile gaming and blockchain scenario. And then the third is always, what big announcements and what major Hollywood player do you have, whether it's entertainer, musician, or actor that's jumping in. And of course, as you guys know, The Rock and Mark Wahlberg tied into this. So all of this is playing into a very interesting spot for Gala. Now, if you look at Jason's Twitter thread, and I'm going to zoom in on this one, and time for a little bit more Gala Games, context around the pivot to include mobile and what this means for the whole Gala ecosystem. He goes on to say, when we started Gala, part of the reason was because we wanted to give people kind of a truck and town star on ETH, and the app stores wouldn't allow it. That was one of the problems that that we've seen. Further into his tweet, he gets into some of the detail, which I think is why mobile is going to be such a big strategy for Gala. So as he goes on to say, the hostility of app stores and mobile makers to blockchain was one of the main reasons we originally focused on desktop. Problem is, of course, that desktop isn't where most people do their gaming. We've talked about this with Jason very specifically, and I know he couldn't really address it at that time when we interviewed him, but it was one of the key things that we asked him and have asked him over a period of time. He goes in and says, in recent months there's been a thawing of the attitude. And this is a very interesting statement right here. I'm going to kind of bold this. In recent months, there's been a thawing of attitude towards the blockchain with more and more opportunities for integration opening up. Previously, in high-level talks, this is very important, high-level talks, we weren't able to make much progress. This is no longer true. Now, to me, when you look at a company, and especially in the business development side, really the framework of getting to the next level, the next step in not only your own company development, but in a market-making scenario that Gala's playing into, this is very key because it does mean that the shackles of companies and game makers, entertainers, and what we're seeing in the ecosystem is starting to loosen up. And that, to me, was one of his biggest statements. Further in his tweet, he says, all of this sets the stage for a broadening of our focus to include mobile. Whether it's casual games, serious mobile experiences, the sound of tinkling bells, collars, clicking chips, on etc. Mobile gaming opens up the Gala ecosystem. to hundreds of millions of new users. Totally agree with this. This is something we've argued at length, that we think that blockchain gaming is going to be the evolution, explosion from a mobile standpoint. What it will mean when people are able to jump in and play a seamless mobile experience on our L1, not just the hardcore desktop gamers and the cryptonauts, but everyone. And I think that is also the other aspect of this, and that is onboarding, ease of access, and the threshold to entry. That's the other big factor that many blockchain games have really not been able to really kind of breach that threshold of entry outside of what Axie was able to do, in its heyday. And then it says, this does not mean a pivot away from desktop gaming. All that's still happening, but there's a lot more happening on the mobile front. So this is going to be much sooner, and I couldn't be more excited. And the reason I read all this, guys, is because we do have a podcast. So some of you guys are listening in on the podcast side of things. But they are building fast on mobile. So this all plays into the future of where Gala is going. And those are some of the things that, to me, when we looked at Gala this year, of putting them in even my own portfolio, I was pausing. And the reason I was pausing was I needed to see three things: tokenomic scenarios and improvements, I needed to see mobile, and I needed to see a big partnership. And what does Gala do? Immediately, they just hammer all three in the first week of January. So a big announcement for Gala. Furthermore, I want to get into this right here, because this is interesting, because it's almost there's a little bit of clues that are put in the tweets at Gala. And if you'll notice this one right here, and this was from Gala, it says, a little comment from Benefactor on CryptoKitties. Wouldn't it be cool to give them some Web3 in-game utility? And of course, you kind of recognize that feature right there. And then when you look at the actual companies that are implemented into this is Ember Entertainment. Now, Ember Entertainment, boom, right there. So we've got tie-in to this, and then you go in and look at their website, and these are the mobile games that essentially play into this. And I know there's, I think, 15 that have been announced that play into the acquisition, or what most likely is an acquisition. But the key here is that we're going to see some mobile gaming from Gala, I think, in a very fast fashion. The question will be timeline. I'm hoping that we can get Jason on, or some of the team from Gala, to really kind of break this down, because I think timeline is going to be very critical here on and around how we flow into the next 2 quarters. Now, there's something that's very special that's happening in Metaverse. We're getting ready to drop 2 big videos. We've got Yasu from Animoca Brands. We're going to drop a video. Make sure and listen to that, because we get into some really deep theoretical possibilities of Metaverse. So it's a really good interview. And then we're dropping tonight our CES recap. Now, the reason those 2 videos are important, especially to what is happening here with Gala, is that we're seeing a transformational change in how Metaverse, NFTs, gaming, and mass adoption may occur. And, even myself, and I'm very, very plugged into this. I'm very tech-centric. I want this to happen. I'm very blockchain forward in terms of thinking how we're going to see kind of a transformation in business and all things related to technology around blockchain. The reason this is so important is because trigger-wise, from Gala's standpoint, is we could be in a scenario in 2022 where these types of tokens start to separate from the financial side of blockchain. Because really you have 2 divisions, and it's the reason we run 2 different shows here on the network. We have TechPath Crypto, that more strategy, more big picture, crypto, finance, etc. And Metaverse Insider. Metaverse Insider, gaming, NFTs, Web3, really kind of the vision of where entertainment and fun is going on the blockchain. And I think that's what we're dealing with here, is a split in these ecosystems of the financial ecosystem in blockchain, the entertainment and culture. And in a conversation that I had with Yatsu this morning, we mentioned this. And I want you to listen to that part of the video when you guys watch it, because it's a very intriguing video of how Animoca thinks about this, because I think it applies to what's happening here at Gala. And what I mean by that is that if we see a detachment away from traditional markets and away from what we're seeing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the traditional altcoins, we may actually see a functional aspect of these new announcements, providing that those business development opportunities could become a more frequent scenario. Think about how Polygon has been able to do that with their biz dev deals and what they've been able to do just in a short period of time in terms of the last year. If Gala could be in that same kind of scenario right now in terms of new announcements, this gets big really quick. And I think we do see projects like Gala start to detach away. So we'll get into the talk about, and the reason that this also goes into massive news and information around where Gala's future might be going. And you look at who they were able to sign. So this was the tweet right here, just a little bit of information regarding ongoing work with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. The big thing here is Gala is the gas token for both Gala Films and also Gala Music. So remember, that was part of the tokenomic component that is something around to where we're burning all of the tokens utilized in the ecosystem. That's a big deal in terms of how this starts to play out for the Gala platform. And I want to just zoom in on this. And because it's so small, I'm going to read it to you guys because it gets into a little bit of detail. Here's this. First of all, I want to thank everyone to show so much excitement about what we're doing here at Gala. Thank you. It's very encouraging and appreciated. I promise to say a little about the strategy for film today. And again, as usual, we're not effing around. We partner with some of the really exciting people and projects. And as you're reading this, basically we're developing 2 films with The Rock and then also Mark Wahlberg, 2 absolutely huge forces in the entertainment industry, needless to say. You've seen their work. And he goes on to talk about, think about it for a moment. Imagine going to a movie where there's a QR code on the ticket to redeem a digital item. And then that has been selling on OpenSea. Why wouldn't you take a look? And that's for, I think, the onboarding aspect. Imagine, again, you're watching something on Netflix. QR code shows up there as well. There are just some very interesting use cases they're talking about. Integration with our games in music is another exciting project. And when you want to add Hogwarts to your Voxverse land. So you can start to see some of the linkage here of the puzzle coming together. And then finally, they say all this is to say Gala Film is going to use Gala as its own gas token because Gala Film will be on the blockchain. That's their layer 1. In millions of fans interested in The Rock or Mark Wahlberg or Ghost of Ruin, David Bianchi's Razor, which we had David on the show. Check that video out. Will be collecting digital items. And then these items will need gas, and that, of course, is Gala. So all of that flowing into good tokenomics. It shows the announcement and the deal that they're architecting here. But the bigger thing here, if there could be anything bigger than The Rock, is the fact that it is The Rock. And the reason for this is that this starts to do one of 2 things. And I want to play a clip here, and I'm just going to show you just a little bit about what's happening here. And I want to get into this, but before I go too far into this, I want to explain. The deal with The Rock does mean that there is an opportunity here to kind of unleash Hollywood into Gala Film. Now, in the right way, this could go with a handful of people that kind of know Dwayne and understand what he's done, and maybe they come along for the ride. That's a possibility. We can't necessarily count that in there, but the fact is they were able to ink a deal with Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne Johnson in a big way. Now, you have to think back of why and how all of this happened. Because remember, The Rock has been a little bit at odds with his previous movie partner, and this, of course, was with Black Adam. And even though it didn't necessarily do that great at the box office. So this was an example, this is over on Yahoo Entertainment. He's kind of talking about this project and what happened. And some of the issues were that there were some changes in management, and all of that kind of started to shift the focus of where Black Adam was going to be going, and more importantly, the vision of what Dwayne Johnson wants to do. And there's something that our team kind of has uncovered here. I'm going to play this clip, and then I'll talk about that. But let's listen to this clip real quick.
Thought I wanted to share with you guys. There's a good friend of mine named Inky Johnson. You guys should follow. He's always got great perspective, grounding perspective. He keeps it raw, he keeps it real. He said something that was really profound that I feel ties into this whole thing. And he talked about having the guts to fail. And the reason why I bring that back around to you guys is having the guts to fail compared to having the desire to be famous, having the desire to succeed. And by the way, you should have a desire to win, desire to succeed. There's nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, and that's your truth. But I have found in life that the desire to become famous, the desire to succeed, will never be as powerful as having the guts to fail. And I love that, because I look back on my own life and around every corner, and still today, look, I'm a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm 58,000 years old. But I still have that, and that's my lead foot of just having the guts to fail around every corner. And that leads my decisions. That allows me to take big swings, get my ass kicked on some of them, fail at some of them, but then also succeed at some of them. So I will always take guts over desire.
All right, so I'm going to pause it right there. Reason this is important is because he was referencing the, I won't call it failure, but there were some challenges with Black Adam, but more importantly, his mindset, his psyche of how he makes his decisions going forward. Him leaping into blockchain with Gala and Gala Film, I think shows the ability of his mindset to be able to be ready for the blockchain. This is not going to be a cakewalk. This is going to be something that Hollywood in general is going to have some time to be able to make it. If he is successful, if this works, the opportunity is huge. And what it could mean, Dwayne Johnson could literally be the new Tom Cruise of Web3 in the essence of really kind of making the future of where films and entertainment are going to be going in terms of Web3 and blockchain. That's what's exciting about this. And I think when you have a mindset like Dwayne Johnson, this plays into it. It's a perfect match. At the same time, you know, there's a little bit of diva there. You have to be aware of that. And that's kind of the Hollywood, you know, theme. So it's really an all upside for him, because if this goes well, it's going to look as though he's brilliant. If it doesn't go well, then, you know, there can always be an out. So I think the scenario that plays into this is that if Gala is capable of being able to ink more deals, which I think now they will, when you have this kind of package basically in partnership with you, Wahlberg, The Rock, this starts to open up doors. I think they're going to be absolutely unbelievable. And I'll answer a lot of questions, because I know you guys have a lot to do, or questions about Gala and where the future of this might go. But I think, in short, there's a lot here. Don't forget, of course, Gala Music. I still am anticipating some pretty significant things happening with Gala Music. And I think that also this will bleed over into the entertainment space for music, because obviously with film, now you've got your Snoop of film being The Rock. And I think that just starts to create a aha moment in Hollywood and in the entertainment circles in general. If I was traditional studios right now, man, I'd be shaking in my boots, because this is, in my opinion, the first step in the right direction around Web3 for entertainment. And if this starts to open things up in terms of control, marketing, and all that, and if you understand a little bit about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he's very integrated into marketing all of his movies, putting out his programs. So you can imagine how creative he's going to bring tool sets into what's going to happen right here inside not only Gala Film, but also inside Web3 and where film might be going. So this is getting very interesting, guys. We saw a ton of stuff coming from CES that could really play into this in the future. TVs and the experiences that we're going to see within the next few years are going to absolutely blow you away. And the opportunity for entertainers, actors, and really creative individuals paired with the right kind of blockchain partner, someone like Gala, this could explode into something from an entertainment level that maybe we've absolutely never even imagined or dreamed of, and where this may go in the future. So I'm very bullish on this. As you guys know, we covered that. We built an entire network around this technology, from crypto technology, what's happening in Metaverse, NFTs, etc. So it's something big. I think this is the very tip of the iceberg, though. So just be ready. There's a lot more happening, and there's several other projects out there outside of Gala that could be playing into this in a very quick fashion. We'll be covering a lot of those here on the show and over on Metaverse Insider as well. All right, now I know we have a poll, so let's see what the poll says today. Biggest Gala announcement, Rock and Wahlberg takes 40%, improved tokenomics, and of course, big on mobile. I agree with this. Yeah, in terms of the ranking, for the immediate need right now, big announcement is always going to be a big part of this. I think mobile is a huge step in the right direction, but I'm more interested in the tokenomics because to me, that's long lasting. And it has the ability to affect so many more projects, meaning more game studios, more artists, more actors, more platforms that will be built inside and around that Gala token that is going to start to create a very unique habit. So I'm watching this one in a big way now. Remember, 3 things happened this first week in January, of which I was almost in the camp of, I think Gala's just, they're kind of putting it on cruise control. Boy, was I ever wrong. They were not putting it on cruise control. This was a strategic launch for 2023. I think this is good after the holidays. So PR-wise, kudos move to the Gala team. It does change my position on Gala in terms of would I continue to invest in it. Remember, when we dropped the Gala token off of our portfolio, it was when we sold that, I think, around 8 or 9 cents. So it was quite a bit up on the platform. Even though that was down, though, overall, we had lost money on it. But now, if we were to go back in, we'd essentially be looking at a new potential. That's something we're going to be looking at in a big way to add back over to our program. All right, so let's get to a couple of questions. Hassan, yes, I'm regretting it, but not really, because it would still have to climb it'd have to double again for it to make it to the point where we sold. But it's going in the right direction. But the more important thing, not necessarily the price today, is this vision that Gala has just now painted in the first week of January. Tokenomics, partnerships, and what that partnership really means in Hollywood, and the potential for mobile gaming. To me, those are absolutely game changers in the space right now. Paintball for Life, what are your thoughts on the new tokenomics? I like it. Should this push a price? Yes, it's going to push this one up. This also positions Gala, I think, in a very strong position to clearly fly through this current bear market and be in a position for the next bull run. So be on the lookout for that. Let's go here. Jen Smith, pretty gutsy for The Rock. Yeah, I think so. And that was why I wanted to play that clip there from Dwayne Johnson. Is he kind of talks to that very point, is that he's willing to take these absurd risks. So, to do these kind of things. I mean, I think when he took Black Adam, the idea was, with, I think it was Warner Brothers, was to take it out 10 years and make it more of a, almost like a Mission Impossible type thing, where you've got just a constant flow of content and kind of the brand that would be built around Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And for him to struggle with that film and not do, unbelievable with it like most of his films do, I think his admittance is that there are going to be risks, there's going to be failures, there's going to be things that you do that you have to try. And I think it's a good scenario. And I think that's a good partner. That's why I was mentioning this is a good partnership for Gala, because it's the right kind of individual to partner with them. So very cool. Let's go in here with Gala Music Player. All right, buying the mobile game studio was the biggest news because of almost everything else was already known. Yes and no, but at the same time, I think the key here, mobile gaming, as I said, I would say tokenomics is my number one. Mobile gaming is my number two. Not that I don't think that right now the biggest announcement was, of course, the deal with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. What else do we have? Thanks for the super chat there, guys. We'll see you in an interview. Maybe, I hope so. We'll get The Rock on. We'd have Rock on anytime. I'd love to get, and maybe, hey, come on. We're the biggest Metaverse channel out there. We're the place to bring it right here. What else do you guys? No one ever went broke taking profits. Thank you, Jeff. I don't know that was taking profits for us. It was adjusting our portfolio when we sold it like 8-9 cents. All right, and then JTX says, if we learned anything from 22, celeb endorsements does not necessarily make a project. I agree, but I would disagree with this selection, only in the sense that I think this does make it, just like Snoop made it for music, and he's had a significant impact, but could you imagine if there was a Taylor Swift or someone that was in those kinds of current pop culture level in terms of artists and multiple selling albums, etc., that would jump into this. This is where Dwayne Johnson is. I would put him in the top 5 action, well, maybe top 5 actors in Hollywood right now in terms of just what he's been able to do in a very short period of time. So this is a big one for sure. Let's see here. El Gato says, you think the bottom for Gala was 15, even the BTC is not here yet. So my thinking here, again, sure, Bitcoin has relevance in the sense of where this is going, but I think we are in a very interesting time here for 2022. And as I said, I think we're in a split. We're going to see the culture side of blockchain start to emanate in a way in which it did not in 2022 versus in 2023. So I think all of that is about to change. And of course, this kind of announcement from Gala is a big one as well. All right, guys, don't forget, we're going to drop those 2 videos, Animoca Brands, their strategy on 23. We got into it a lot with Yatsu. There's some really good alpha in there, so don't miss that one. And then our CES coverage, we're going to drop tonight as well. That's a big one as well because it showcases not only the tech, but also the direction of major electronic manufacturers and how this may be shifting a lot of things in the device world, including mobile and all that good stuff. So make sure and check those out. If you're not part of the Diamond Circle, make sure and get in now. It's free. And all you have to do is just give us your email. We send out a couple of emails a week, keep you updated of all the news we're doing and additional content, all that kind of stuff. It's very simple. Just click the link below. If you guys want to catch me, it is out there on Twitter @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.